Hey guys, welcome to my vlog. This is where I'm creating my own universe via songs, and there's about 7 to 10 different characters. And this one is about Eddie Clive, kind of massaging it all together or whatnot. But yeah, he's the songwriting quantum physicist. Well, quantum theorist, right? He's not a physicist; he's a theorist. And in this world in which I created, musicians are considered magicians, especially successful ones. But with the advent of technology like the internet, of course, people hear. Hold on a second, please. Hey, honey. Yeah, so yeah, with the advent of technology, people hear songs that other people make, and so it ripples into reality. And what he didn't know was that there was these different schools of thought. um, all he was some dork that was into quantum physics and started applying what he was learning to his music. And yeah, it's a lot of fun doing these. So right now I'm just going to read the lyrics to where we're at. I introduced the character, and he read a book which introduced him to a philosopher that he really enjoyed. And then he started contemplating how energy affects matter, and in the not only in thought experiments, but in actual experiments like the double slit experiment, right? So, in which when trying to ascertain whether light on a subatomic level is a wave or a particle, they constructed this double slit experiment in which, when the light goes through the two slits, if it's a wave, it creates an interference pattern in the back, but if it's a particle, it will not. And come to find out, whenever someone observes this experiment, um, it means well, they affect the experiment. The interference pattern goes away. So he was really intrigued by that. He was intrigued by quantum entanglement. He was also intrigued by the idea of brain waves, and what is it to go into a state of hypnosis and all of that stuff. So he tied all these things together. And right now, so I'm going to just read from this, and this one is called "Make the Connections." Right. So here we go. The past is just peptides, a neural net, meaning a neurological network in the brain. He's really drawn to statements like this. The past could just be brain chemistry. He likes pondering what is real and what is an illusion. And that's what led him to his favorite philosopher, which I brought up, which was from a book that he read. But these epiphanies did not come to him easily. He had to take time for himself to ponder. Um, Abstractions which he knew are not connected to his emotions or his moods, meaning he knew that that he had to remain kind of neutral and more objective than in order to really put in order to really put these concepts together without um, without any interference, with to quicken the connections being connected. uh, uh, that that these feelings needed to be put aside in order to really contemplate and make the connections. Right, what I just said. That this was a price in the beginning. The price being you go through like almost like emotional withdrawal. If you like pause and you're not thinking of anything, it's almost like there's a physical reaction to you, to the body, like you're going through a withdrawal from like drugs or something. But so that this is the price in the beginning, but when he put the information to work is when his life began to change, right? So so he created the concepts and worked to replace them in his art that rippled his life. So in other words, instead of writing songs about like, oh, you know, how I feel and all this other stuff, like most typical songs are, he wanted to just tell, you know, he wanted to drop knowledge in the songs themselves and see if it would ripple in his life, see what would appear in his life, instead of compounding the emotional dilemmas which lead to freaking, you know, bad days and all kinds of stuff, right? If you could follow what I'm saying, right? So yeah, so you know, he created the concepts and worked to replace them in his art, which rippled his life. What he didn't know at the time was that it's better to stand on the side of justice instead of his own self-interest. So he realized that waves upon an energy field, like strumming a guitar, and putting words to it, impacting his life around him, he thought that, wow, you know, I could go pretty far with that, you know, with this new knowledge that I've acquired. Okay, this is all fiction, but what he didn't do in the beginning was, you know, stand on the side of justice. You know, hey, what up, Kenneth? Yeah, hi to everyone. Hi to everyone. Hi to you too, man. Appreciate it. You know, he had to learn that the hard way, because he ended up blundering. He ended up like going on the internet and doing weird things, and not like what people normally do with their social media. Hey, this is me, and this is me baking, you know, this is me flipping a hamburger, or this is me and my wife, and this is me and my dog, and stuff like that. He went after people who he thought would have the same taste in music, you know, and he didn't reveal too much about his person. Thanks. Sometimes I wonder, you know, what the heck I'm doing, but I appreciate that. I am one of us, man. Because a lot of these concepts are really big, and so they're hard to like put together in a story sometimes. Systems of thought that lead to this power, but of course it's all controlled and stuff within these schools, and then these schools also war through the media too, because it's the arts and entertainment industry. They know that that, you know, millions of people are staring into the same, like, let's say, movie, or you're listening to the same song, and stuff like that. And because of the observer effect in quantum physics that creates reality, they know that they're impacting reality. Yeah, and that's it, you guys. That's it. The past is just peptides, a neural net. He's really drawn to statements like this. He likes pondering what is real and what is an illusion.